What if every birthday gift you ever received was a clue to a secret so dark, it could change your life forever? On her 18th birthday, Emma's annual mysterious puzzle box finally reveals the chilling truth about her family and her own destiny. For as long as Emma could remember, her birthdays had been marked by a strange tradition. Each year, a small, beautifully carved puzzle box would appear on her doorstep, always wrapped in deep blue velvet, always anonymous. As a child, she delighted in the challenge, twisting and turning the intricate pieces until a hidden compartment popped open, revealing a trinket or a cryptic note. Her parents would smile and feign surprise, but Emma always sensed a flicker of unease in their eyes. The boxes became more complex as she grew older, the puzzles harder, the contents more mysterious. By her 17th birthday, she had a collection of them hidden in her closet, each one a silent question mark in her life. She never spoke of them to anyone, not even her best friend Lily. But as her 18th birthday approached, Emma felt a growing sense of dread. This year, she knew, would be different. On the morning of her 18th birthday, Emma found the box waiting for her on the porch. This one was larger, heavier, and carved with strange symbols she didn't recognize. Her hands trembled as she carried it to her room, waiting until her parents left for work before she dared to open it. The puzzle was the hardest yet, taking her hours to solve. When the final piece clicked into place, a hidden drawer slid open, revealing a folded letter and a small brass key. The letter, written in a spidery hand, read, "The truth is hidden where your story began. Use the key. The time has come." Emma's heart pounded. What truth? What story? And what did the key unlock? She glanced at the other boxes, suddenly aware that they might all be part of a larger game, one she was only just beginning to understand. Emma spent the day searching her house for a lock that matched the key. She tried every drawer, every cabinet, but nothing fit. Frustrated, she sat on her bed, the key cold in her palm, and thought back to her earliest memories. The attic, the old oak tree in the backyard, the basement, places that felt like the beginning of her story. She decided to try the basement, a place her parents always told her to avoid. The air was thick with dust and secrets. In the far corner, she found an old trunk, its lock tarnished but intact. The key fit perfectly. Inside, she discovered a stack of letters, yellowed newspaper clippings, and a faded photograph of a little girl who looked just like her. As she sifted through the contents, a chilling realization dawned: her family had been hiding something for generations. Emma stared at the photograph, her hands shaking. The little girl in the picture wore a dress identical to one Emma had as a child. Standing behind her were two adults, her grandparents, she realized, though they looked younger and haunted. The letters in the trunk were addressed to her grandmother, filled with warnings and pleas to keep the secret safe. The newspaper clippings told a darker story: a missing child, a fire, and a family name whispered in scandal. Emma's mind reeled as she pieced together the fragments. Her family had been involved in something terrible, something that had been buried for decades. The puzzle boxes, she realized, were more than just gifts. They were breadcrumbs, leading her to the truth. But why now? Why her? As she read the last letter, her blood ran cold. It ended with a single line: "When the time comes, you will know what to do." Emma couldn't keep the secret to herself any longer. That evening, she confronted her parents, laying the photograph and letters on the kitchen table. Her mother's face went pale, her father's hands trembled. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, her mother confessed: the missing child in the clippings was Emma's aunt, a sister her mother had never spoken of. She had vanished under mysterious circumstances, and the family had spent years covering up the truth. The puzzle boxes, her mother explained, were a tradition meant to protect the next generation, each box a warning, a lesson, a test. But Emma's boxes had been different. Someone else had been sending them, someone who wanted the truth to come out. Emma demanded to know who, but her parents only shook their heads, fear etched deep in their eyes. Determined to find the sender, Emma retraced her steps, examining every box for clues. In the lining of the latest box, she found a hidden compartment containing a burner phone. There was only one number saved, and a single message: "Meet me at midnight." The old oak tree. Emma's heart raced. Was this a trap, or her chance for answers? At midnight, she crept outside, the moon casting long shadows across the yard. Under the ancient oak, a figure waited, an elderly woman with sharp eyes and a familiar smile. She introduced herself as Mrs. Hawthorne, a neighbor Emma barely remembered. Mrs. Hawthorne revealed she had been entrusted with the boxes by Emma's grandmother, who wanted the truth to be revealed when Emma was old enough to understand. The family's secret, she said, was more dangerous than Emma realized. Mrs. Hawthorne led Emma to her own home, where she produced a final, unopened box. "Your grandmother wanted you to have this when you were ready," she said. Inside was a diary, written in her grandmother's hand. The diary chronicled a history of betrayal, jealousy, and revenge. Emma learned that her aunt's disappearance was no accident. She had been taken as part of a twisted game between rival families, a feud that had claimed innocent lives for generations. The diary ended with a chilling directive: "Emma, you are the last piece. Only you can end this." Emma's hands shook as she closed the diary. The weight of her family's legacy pressed down on her, and for the first time, she understood the true purpose of the birthday game. It wasn't just about discovering the truth, it was about avenging the past and breaking the cycle. Emma spent days wrestling with the truth. The diary's final pages outlined a plan for revenge against the family responsible for her aunt's disappearance. But Emma wasn't sure she could go through with it. She confided in Lily, her best friend, who urged her to think carefully. "You don't have to repeat their mistakes," Lily said. "You can choose a different path." Torn between loyalty to her family and her own conscience, Emma visited the rival family's estate. She saw the faces of people who, like her, were haunted by the past. In a moment of clarity, Emma realized that vengeance would only continue the cycle of pain. She decided to confront the rival family, not with violence, but with the truth. She handed them the diary, exposing the secrets that had poisoned both families for generations. The revelation sent shockwaves through both families. Old wounds were reopened, but for the first time, there was a chance for healing. Emma's parents struggled to accept her decision, but gradually, they saw the wisdom in her choice. Mrs. Hawthorne, too, expressed pride in Emma's courage. The puzzle boxes, once symbols of mystery and fear, became reminders of Emma's strength. Emma found herself at the center of a fragile peace. She worked to bridge the gap between the families, organizing meetings and encouraging open dialogue. It wasn't easy, there were setbacks and moments of doubt, but Emma refused to give up. She knew that true change would take time, but she was determined to see it through. A year later, on her 19th birthday, Emma found a new box on her doorstep. This one was different. Inside was a simple note: "You broke the cycle. Now, start a new tradition." Emma smiled, feeling a sense of peace she'd never known before. She gathered both families for a celebration, sharing stories, laughter, and hope for the future. The puzzle boxes were displayed as a testament to the power of truth and forgiveness. Emma knew the past would never be forgotten, but it no longer controlled her. She had chosen her own path, and in doing so, had given her family, and herself, a second chance. If you were given the chance to break your family's cycle of secrets and pain, would you take it? Share this story with someone who believes in the power of truth and forgiveness, and let us know, what would you do if you were Emma?